to file your BOI report or not to file, that seems to be the question that everyone is having after this Texas court issued an order that basically paused the enforcement of the Corporate Transparency Act, which is has to do with this BOI reporting that we've been talking about over the past couple months, really. So I want to talk to you about that today because we have heard from FinCEN. FinCEN is the enforcement agency for this BOI reporting, and what they say really matters. So what we're going to do is talk about what they are saying today in this video. So if that sounds good, please stay tuned. Again, reminder to everybody, I am not a lawyer. None of this is legal advice. Okay, so when you go to the FinCEN website, fincen.gov/BOI, at the bottom, or as you scroll to the bottom, you will see some alerts on their page. And also, if you actually go to the filing page, you will also see that there is an alert there at the top of the page as well, which basically says a shortened version of what we're about to talk about. FinCEN has responded to what happened with the Texas courts, and they are saying this. Please note that the beneficial ownership information reporting requirements have been affected by a recent federal court order. The Department of Treasury is appealing that order. Very important. In the meantime, reporting companies are not currently required to file a BOIR and are not subject to liability if they fail to do so while the applicable order remains in force. However, reporting companies may still opt to file a BOIR. Okay, so a couple really big things there. Yes, FinCEN totally acknowledges this federal court order, which obviously they have to. The Department of Treasury has already appealed that order. So the federal government still believes that this CTA is constitutional, and I'll read something else they wrote in just a second about that, and that you are not currently required to file BOIR, and very, very importantly, because a lot of you guys have questions about this, am I going to be penalized if I don't file, and then all of a sudden all of this gets reversed? And the answer is no, you are not subject to liability if you do not file while this order is in place. Okay, so that is very good for us to know. And basically, FinCEN says it's completely voluntary right now. If you want to file, you can. No requirement to if you don't want to. Okay, so I think a lot of you were really concerned about penalties, so I think that clears things up for all of us. I would still recommend, if you're not going to file voluntarily, it says you're not subject to liability while the applicable order remains in force. If it all of a sudden is not in force, you want to be ready to file very quickly. So get your information gathered and watch the video that shows you what you need, and so you can do that if the time comes, okay? So let's go and read a little bit further, because I think that there's something about this appeals process and what's been happening in the courts around CTA and the constitutionality of it. So I want to go to this full alert that on the BOI website, and I'm going to read some of that to you. So the Texas case is called the Texas Top Cop Shop case, okay, because that was the name of the plaintiff. So I'm going to read this paragraph to you guys that's specifically around some of the proceedings. So Texas Top Cop Shop is one of the several cases in which plaintiffs have challenged the CTA that are pending before courts around the country. Several district courts have denied requests to enjoin the CTA, ruling in favor of the Department of Treasury. Important. The government continues to believe, consistent with the conclusions of the U.S. District Courts of the Eastern District of Virginia and the District of Oregon, that the CTA is constitutional. Okay, so we've had these go both ways. We've had some cases go towards unconstitutional now, and then some go to constitutional. So in the Texas Top Cop Shop case, which I've had to say that like 5 times because it is a tongue twister, in that case, this went negatively against the Department of Treasury, and deeming basically, or pointing to that the CTA might be unconstitutional, and so hence this nationwide injunction. But it is being appealed currently. So we still have more proceedings. There's still ongoing litigation. So we can't say for sure what's going to happen, but I think that FinCEN has now made it clear what this means for you as a small business owner. So it's completely voluntary to report at this point in time, and that there will not be penalties while this injunction is in place. Okay, so that is all I wanted to tell you guys about today. Make it short and sweet, and hopefully you know what to do at this point in time. If you have any other questions, please put them in the comment section below. And again, as always, I'm trying to keep you guys up to date with everything you need to know for your small business. If you want to receive our newsletter, which we also issue weekly, and then whenever there's really a hot topic that you need to know very urgently, we will send out more immediate messages. You can get on our newsletter list by going to claracfo.com/newsletter. All right, well, we would love to have you on the newsletter list, and we will see you next time on the next video. All right, thanks so much. Bye.